Tell Buzzle put down the blunt cause the beat walkers. Spanish cat good that I'm sitting on beat walkers. Young Lavito, do it for my people who put y'all on the Wepa. Just ask Primo, this is for the ones who bubble, never fumble. Fetty Block, never break the FO, you in trouble. Made the front page, but that's old news now. Moving on to better things. Block look like Medellin, home of the zombie land. Beef is a block away, better have a knuckle game. Making noise in every lane, I'm the one you talk to. Try and do a walkthrough, dog you need a G-Pass. I'm lethal with the ski mask. Young Banco getting case, so shots to base, so girls love me.
So we're at Sapoara in Harlem, and I'm chopping it up with Lex Lavo, Young Lavito today. What's up?
Chilling, man, out here. Thank you for having me.
Of course.
Sipping on some good early.
Some good. I won't say what it is. So I just want to start off with your name. I mean, I know you're probably going to get asked this everywhere you go, but yeah. Lex Lavo, Young Lavito, yes. Where does that all come from?
Well, I guess it's just, for me, it's just cultural, so to speak, because first and foremost, I live in Spanish Harlem, and I come from Lexington Avenue, so, you know, I'm born and raised out here, and I guess, I don't know, just coming from here, I guess it just fit well, and Lavoe, it comes from Héctor Lavoe, which is one of my idols, you know, he's a salsa legend, and I guess it just happened so naturally that I'm just like, you know, in essence, it just fit, like Lex, the voice, Lex Lavo, it just, I don't know, it just happened so organically that I just went with it, and people, you know, they liked it, so I was like, why not? And I guess from there, the Young Lavito is just, you know, as time goes on, people started calling me Lavito, yo Lavito, and it happened so naturally, so I'm just like, I'm just running with it, man. That's literally how everything kind of like formulated or whatever, so. Yeah.
It's catchy. Yeah. You lived in Puerto Rico for a few years, isn't you?
Yeah.
Well, how old were you when you lived there?
I was a baby. I was like maybe 5 years old. My pops was in the military, so we were there for like maybe 3 years. We were stationed out in Ceiba, and honestly, I miss it so much, man. I haven't been in like a little while, but it's.
Do you remember it like good though? Because I know that those years, it's
like
kind of
my backyard was on a beach. You know what I'm saying? Like it was just like. It's like your ideal like living environment, like if you know, like paradise. It's just so beautiful. Like I love the island so much.
Would you go back?
Go back. I wanna build a house out there, like one day, yeah, for sure.
You live there? Like you can see yourself living there for good?
There. I mean, yeah, maybe towards like, you know, maybe retirement and like when I get older, stuff like that, you know, when I got all my kids and grandkids, all that good stuff, they can come visit me. You know what I'm saying?
True. Okay.
So yeah, just I don't know. It's just I guess that's always been like a goal or a dream for me, like to like live, maybe possibly like own some land out there and stuff like that, and just live out there.
That's good. I mean, I think not a lot of people think like that, like land ownership and real estate. Just speaking of real estate, the late Nipsey Hussle, had a mind of his own where he was invested in just so many other things opposed to just the music and the small things that everybody focuses on, and then. There's the other people who think a little bit larger than that, and they think future and ownership and all these kind of things. But speaking of Puerto Rico, you grew up in Harlem, and as diverse as it is now, and it's gentrification is taking over. It wasn't always like that. So
not at all.
How was it growing up here, being Spanish and doing rap? I just feel like there's a whole stigma to that.
Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, like as far as like tackling the whole gentrification thing, I think. That's just all a mindset. Like, I feel like there's so many people out here that have the ability or potential to be, property owners or things like that, but they're just not informed or not educated on that aspect of life, or just like, people wanting to just own their own things and just be a business owner, a business person, woman or man. It's just, I feel like that's a mindset like that you have to have, or at least gain the knowledge on. So I feel like that's why other people are coming in and buying, because it's like prime real estate. It's like, yo, this is like such a dope spot. It's a dope area. It's full of culture and diversity that they're like, yo, we got to get it now. And I feel like if a lot of my people were to step up and do that, like Rick Ross said, like buy back the block, like for real. Like, so I think even just growing up here, like seeing where it was to like where it's now, like it's so different. Like if you didn't grow up here, you do not know that 10, 15 years ago, like this place was totally different. You know what I'm saying? So I think just growing up and even being an artist out here, I'm so prideful. Like it's something that is just instilled in me since day one, just living out here. Like I said, it's just so much culture out here, so many different people, so many different walks of life. And I just love being from here, you know what I'm saying? Like, just, I'm so orgulloso, like, I just have that pride like crazy. Like, I love being from Spanish Harlem.
You kind of talk about it in 4 p.m. in Calabasas. You say
Yes.
that Harlem people are known to be conceited.
Yeah.
Which I think, honestly, like, it is something, you know, every borough has their thing. And they always compare, like, the Queens people to Brooklyn people to then I feel like Harlem's always kind of been that outskirt reach where, you know, they have, like, that reputation of being conceited in a sense.
I don't think it's necessarily conceited. Like, when I said that line, I just feel like that's the perception that we get. Like, people think we conceited because we hold ourselves to a standard. You know what I mean? Like, we put ourselves on a pedestal because we known for that sauce, like having that vibe. Like, when you come to Spanish Harlem, you know what you're gonna get out here. Like, you're gonna have people who are swaggy, it's cultural, it's just full of life. And that's not, you don't catch that vibe in too many places out here in the world, or even just New York, period. When you come to Harlem, East or West, just Harlem as a whole, you know you come in here, you're gonna get a vibe out here. Like, and the vibe is just, sometimes it could be overbearing. Like, some people can't handle it, so I guess people look at it like as conceitedness or overly confident. I don't know, I just guess when you come from Harlem, that's instilled in you from day one. It's
a different lifestyle, I think. Yeah, it's definitely a different lifestyle. I don't want to paint the good and the bad too much, but, you know, just speaking of, like, growing up in troubles and stuff, because, you know, you gotta take the good with the bad at the same time. Do you feel like your situation, you know, you gotta move differently these days, like, and be a little more careful about what you do or what you did in the past days?
Well, I mean, that's a question that I ask myself all the time, because I also don't want to hold myself back. You know what I mean? I don't want to make myself feel like, you know, I don't want to train myself in my brain to feel like I got to, like, you know, watch my every move, because then it's like I'm not living. You know what I mean? I'm just like kind of, you know, walking very hesitantly or walking on eggshells with every move I make. I guess with some things, it's almost like in life you take risks. So it's just like, you know, of course a lot of that risk should be calculated, but I guess over time, you know, just I've been through a lot, you know what I mean? I was incarcerated before. I've just been through a lot of ups and downs just because of the area I was in. And I'm not gonna blame it on the area, but there's so much going on over here that it's not even like a short thing, but it's like inevitable for you to kind of get into some stuff that you know, your parents wouldn't want you to, or you wouldn't want to, but it just happens naturally like that. Because, you know, growing up, you know, you around a lot of different, like I said, a lot of different walks of life, and a lot of people are raised differently. So you might be raised a certain way, but you know, you send your kids to school, you don't know what type of vibe, you know, somebody might rub off on them, and they might be into it. So what you gonna do? Run with it, because your boys are doing it or your homegirls are doing it. You're like, why not? So it's just like, you gotta, like you said, take the good with the bad and, you know, just live. Like, you can't stop living.
No, and you mentioned, you know, your parents being okay with it and stuff. And, like, I think one of the lines that you said was when you talked about your mother, and you say, my mother's, you know, cried a river on the day I got arrested. Like,
yeah.
And when you said that, like, I felt it, because I'm just like, you know, I have family members that have been through stuff, and I've seen my aunts kind of go through that pain, and it's tough. But do you have a supportive system? Like, I know, you know, you grew up with your mother. Like, is that a support system that you have? Like, is that something that you
like
go back and forth with?
Yeah, for sure. Like, I mean,
because I know how Spanish people can be. You know, as a Latina, I say, like, you know, you come out with, like, pursuing music, and it's always been something where if you're not pursuing college and, like, going the norm, it's always, they're kind of like,
you know what
judgmental
though?
In a way.
Yeah, I hear that. I think my mom's, for the most part, she was always supportive, but just always wanted the best for me. You know what I mean? And her definition of the best for me is, like you said, maybe going to college and doing the right thing, so to speak. But for me, I just always followed my heart and whatever I was passionate about. Like, I always looked at music like it was like a scapegoat, or like it was an outlet for me to, like, branch off and do other things. Like, yeah, I love music. I'm gonna always be passionate about it, but it's a outlet to open other doors for me to do other things in life. You know what I'm saying? That's why you see, you know, guys like 50 or Hove, they came in the game, they did their music thing, they established themselves as businessmen, and then they started investing and doing other things. So that's eventually what I want to do. And I think you know, the support system that I have, like with my mom and my family, is definitely there. Like they support me wholeheartedly with no questions asked, because they know I'm serious about it.
Yeah.
They know I really like bleed blood, sweat, and tears. Like this is, music is me. You know what I mean? Like this is always what I've been since a youngin'. So I guess just over time, you know, even when they started seeing things getting a little serious, like that's when they kind of like were tuned in for real. Like, yo, all right, like this is getting real.
I mean, yeah, you put your heart, blood, and soul into it.
Yes.
So I think at a certain point, that beginning part is always kind of just the test.
Yeah.
And if you flunk at it, if you let go of it, you slack up, then it's kind of like proving them right. I mean, and when I say them, I mean like the entire world. But if you stick with it and you really put out, which your content is solid. So
Thank you.
I think that proves it, you know, to everybody that you're actually going somewhere with it. You talk about the late great Christopher Rios in your song too. What's that influence like on you?
Oh man, Pun.
Big Pun, for those of you who don't know the official name.
Pun is. Honestly, I think I've been asked this question one other time, and I had to say he's probably, if not, one of my biggest influences. And not because he's Latino. Like, a lot of people gonna think that off the bat, like, yo, he's Spanish, of course he's gonna gravitate.
Off the string,
Of course I'm gonna gravitate towards him because he is Latino, and, you know, he represents that culture, the same culture I represent. So, yeah, he you know, he set the stepping stones for people like me, other artists like me, and anybody else who came behind him. So it's like, you know, of course I'm a feel that way about him. But other than that, like, musically, sonically, aesthetically, lyrically, that man he was it. There would never be another Pun, man, ever.
Never, no.
You know what I mean? So it was like somebody like him being so influential in his own right and being the person that he was. You know, I've watched videos about him. I've heard stories from other artists that were next to him, like on the come up, like being around him, and they've told me stories about him, and it's just, you know, a lot of those stories I gotta take to the grave, but it's just shit that I know, like, that about him, even on a more intimate level, that was like, yo, he was an overall great human being, and probably even a better artist. Like, his artistry was just second to none. So I don't know, I guess, yeah, he's definitely influential in what I do, for sure, like, hands down.
Didn't you say that one of your family members had, you were talking about the batting cages and stuff?
Yeah.
Was that in the Bronx?
Back in the day, yeah, my godfather, he used to own a batting cage in the Bronx, like on the Brooklyn. It was called Baseball Plus. And I seen Pun when I was a young kid. I was like maybe 6 years old. And I think we were throwing like a birthday party for me there, something like that. And he was like playing a full court, like literally like playing, like he was big as hell, playing ball, killing them too. Like, and I'm just like, who is this guy? My brother's like, yo, you don't know who that is? My older brother's like, yo, that's Big Pun. And I'm just like, I'm 6, 7 years old possibly, whichever age I was, but all I remember is I seen a big ass dude running down the court, killing.
But wasn't,
crazy.
I thought I was told that he was actually really athletic most of his life.
Yeah, but I mean, if you consider his weight and all the, you know, all that stuff, is like, you would not think he'd be like so athletic at that point in his life, you know what I mean? But he still was. He was still active and still moving. So, I mean, yeah, it was a dope story. I guess that's like my only Pun story for me personally, like at least knowing, like seeing him, you know, in the physical aspect, but.
Well, not a lot of people have Pun stories. Like, I feel like, and like you said, it was your older cousins. Like, I feel like, at least in my age bracket, I think we all know of certain artists, and we maybe didn't exactly grow up on them in their prime. We were young, because he's in the 90s, and I think it was, you know, like mid to late 90s when he really blew up. So in that case, we were 8, 9 years old at max listening. So it's always the older cousins and the older friends kind of putting you on to something, and then later on, it's nice to look back and be able to say like, yo, I had Pun in my presence. Like, that's kind of crazy.
No, it's dope, man. And just looking back, it was something that I guess, you know, it's like a little moment for me that I could cherish. Like, I saw him. I didn't know who he was at the moment, but I just saw this big ass dude, you know, chains and all that on the court, just, you know, because they had like a little basketball court in there as well as a batting cage or whatever. But other than that, man, that's, like I said, man, he's definitely an influence in what I do, hands down. There's no questions asked about that.
Yeah. I wanted to bring up, because I know this has been like kind of in conversation with a lot of people, and we kind of touched on it.
Yeah.
And it's tricky because some people don't want to talk about it and put bad judgment out there, but there's a sample of Awanile that's out, which I felt like it's only right to bring up with you because of your style and your influence and everything. But
oh man,
and I brought this up in my first episode. There's the on the DJ Khaled album, they do the a sample as well that just
India.
Yeah, it just went. I feel it was done very lazy, like.
Okay.
And then with the Awanile sample, I just feel like, I mean, you've heard the record, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I think right now, like where the game is, there's such a Latin boom going on right now. Everybody wants to sample Latin stuff. Like it's right now, that Latino culture is so popping right now.
Latinx.
Like everybody wants to be a part of it in any which way. I feel like every 5 to 10 years that happens. Like it might die down and then come back again with somebody else. Like it's just been like that for the past 20 plus years or something like that. Like I've seen it. Like you see rappers the African American rappers that they talking uno, dos, tres, and or they'll say or mami or pop, they'll just use little words and stuff like that because it sound cool coming from them.
Right.
Like they embracing the culture. But when you got somebody like Fat Joe and Khaled, well, Fat Joe is Latino, so I know he already knows the aesthetic, but I guess the producer on that one, not that I completely agree with the record, it's not a bad record. I just think like you said, it was probably poorly done or lazily done, so to speak. Cause I'm critical when it comes to that, especially when you're talking about somebody like Héctor Lavoe. That's my idol, you know what I mean? So somebody like him, you gotta come correct when you bringing that to the table. You can't just half-ass that. And I mean, that's no hate towards it. It's just, I'm critical like that.
I mean, you have to be. I think in
that's
music,
just how I feel. It's my personal
this world
opinion.
has become way too censored and sensitive, where we're afraid to say something, and that's why I always say it's not to be judgmental. It's not to say anything. But
I'm gonna speak my mind regardless of how people may feel towards what I'm saying. Because at the end of the day, I'm not gonna hide who I am or how I feel.
Right.
So that's just.
And you talk about little words, and I feel like we've heard it with Noriega in the past, and dudes like that. But you started with. What I like to say is you had this whole Wepa movement going on. What made you just incorporate that so big?
Because you know what? I think for a Latino in a hip hop culture, which is predominantly black, for the most part.
Yeah.
You hear words like lit or litty or it's popping or it's going on or whatever's going on. I'm like, I'm gonna use my culture and implement my culture into the hip hop culture, with the Wepa. Nobody was using Wepa at all, hip hop culture. I've never heard an artist use it 3-4 years ago. I was using it 3-4 years ago. I was saying Wepa I would be performing at SOBs and I'd be like, yo, let me get a Wepa from the whole crowd. And you got Asians, blacks, whites, Hispanics, and they all screaming Wepa.
Yep.
You feel me? I'm talking about this is 3-4 years ago. Nobody was using that. I don't care who you was. I don't care. I never heard it. And that's for me is that's lit. That's popping for us. That's what that means to us. It's Wepa. It's it's popping. So I had to implement that. I'm like, yo, and it's such a household word that everybody knows about. And I'm like, nah, I gotta implement it. It just only fit. It was just only right. I had to. Then I started implementing it at my shows. I started making merch. People started seeing it more, and everybody see me be like, yo, what's up? Niggas start calling me Mr. Wepa. For real. I'm like, yo, this shit is crazy.
It's funny because we all use it in our everyday kind of conversation.
It's natural for us as
for
Latinos.
For us, it's anybody that's a Latino might be like, you didn't create that. And we know that, right? But
no,
what
not
you're,
at all.
Like
that's
what
not
you're
what
saying,
I'm. Let me cut you off.
Putting it into the music is a whole different thing.
That's not what I'm taking ownership of. I feel like putting it into because that's a whole nother realm. But as far as hip hop, or even just music, period. Maybe not salsa music, but I'm talking about hip hop or R&B. Nobody's using Wepa.
It's a different demographic.
You know what I mean? And I feel like I had to, not because nobody was doing it. I felt like, all right, nobody isn't doing it. Why not do it?
Right.
So it's not like I was trying to beat somebody to the punch or do it before anybody. It was because I'm looking strategically at it. All right, the Morenitos got this. The white people got this. The Asians got that. They got this. What about us?
Right.
You know what I mean? I feel like that's something that it was just like a birthright. I had to.
And I love it because it's something that we carry weight with. I want to talk about everything that you have going on in the future, your EPs and everything, new music, merch, like you said, but I want to do something really fun, really quick with my right hand, Scarlet. She's going to ask you a couple questions. No time to think about it. You just kind of straight shoot and go.
Straight shot.
That's it. Just real, raw. Don't think about it. Just go.
Let's do it. I'm ready.
All right, let's do that.
All right, so I'm going to ask you a couple fiery, rapid questions.
Let's do it.
And you just got to say whichever comes to mind.
Oh, my God. Let me take a sip real quick.
Take that sip. I'm going to get him.
All right, let's do it.
All right. Empanada or alcapurria?
Alcapurria.
Black coffee or café con leche?
Black coffee.
Nicky Jam or Looney Tunes?
Looney Tunes.
Yes. Dunkin' Donuts or Starbucks?
Neither.
Right? White rice and beans or moro de gandules?
Gandules.
Mofongo or mango?
Mofongo.
Old Kanye or new Kanye?
Old Kanye.
NSYNC or Backstreet Boys?
Backstreet Boys.
All right, now I have, this is my last question, but this is like open-ended. Do you think there's a double standard when it comes to men and women cheating?
Guaranteed. I definitely feel like it's more of a stigma on us, like we the ones that always cheat, and you guys probably do more of the cheating, but do it better. So I mean, that's just my perception on it. Like, I mean.
But do you think that when a woman cheats, is it the same thing? Like, should the boyfriend take her back, or is it different? I mean, are we more inclined to take you guys back?
I think that's not even, man. I think that's more on the relationship and how long you guys been together. Like, if you really love that person and you want to forgive them, you're gonna, no matter if it's a guy or a female. The guy, I feel like nowadays a lot of guys, they cheat because they feel like it's the cool thing to do. Or it's just something that they feel like to impress others. Like, yeah, you know, I had enough.
Right.
They'll have their boys knowing that they had a girlfriend and they might do that.
Move.
Yeah, I mean, and that goes for the females too. A lot of females are in that mindset as well. So it's not like I'm just strictly speaking about men specifically, because I was one of those guys, like, you know what I'm saying? So I've definitely matured, but I think to answer as a general question, like, I think it's definitely on both ends. It just seems like it's worse for us because we the men. Like, we supposed to hold down the fort. We supposed to be the ones that's just being, you know, that those alpha males and just holding it down. But y'all do y'all shit. But when y'all do it, y'all be upgrading, y'all be violating. Like, y'all might get a model nigga. Like, damn, bro. Like, you couldn't just cheat on a ratchet bitch.
We make it
like,
worth it. Hello.
With a ratchet nigga, I mean, like, come on. I mean, but that's what I'm saying. Like, it just, like, y'all go above and beyond. We probably, if we do cheat, we cheat with the regular scragglers. Y'all go y'all go and get like a model, rapper, basketball player. Y'all be like, and then y'all like, you see me, I'm out here, like, y'all doing y'all other level. But in all seriousness, it's definitely, you know, on both ends for sure. So.
But do you think that when we do it, it's because we actually like the other person, as opposed to when guys do it, they're just doing it, you know, to see if they still got it or something?
I think, but that's such a...
Because that's what guys
such a vague question, because
always say.
Because they don't want to lose the girl. To make it, it's almost like you're fucking with their mental. You know what I mean? Like, you saying that because you know you're trying to manipulate the person into understanding that whatever it is that I did do, it wasn't out of spite. It was just because I might have been, you know, upset or insecure about the relationship, so I went out and did that, which is not justification at all. It's just I did it just to do it, rather than saying, you know what, babe, I fucked up.
Absolutely, I totally agree.
Keep it 100. Keep it a fucking 100.
Keep
That's
it 100, guys. All
right. Keep it 100.
Thank you, Lex, for playing with me.
Thank you. Appreciate you. You already know.
All right, now back to conversations with Chris.
All right, let's go.
All right, cool. That was fun. Thank you for doing that, but most importantly, the food is here. I'm a foodie, so I get really excited over food.
Me and you both.
So Sapoara has some really delicious appetizers. These are, what do we get?
These are the
cheese?
Yeah, no.
Or chicken. Some kind of empanadas.
And you got the fried cheese with the tostones. You know what I mean?
Tostones. All right, before we stuff our faces, let's talk a little bit about today versus a couple years ago. This industry has changed drastically.
Yeah,
with
completely.
So many things, just the type of music coming out, you know, everybody going viral nowadays, and you know, who is it, the 21 Savage that kind of came out and was like, I own the masters to all my shit. So, you know, excuse my language, but you know, it's just a different world that we live in. Are you interested in a record label deal? Are you not? Do you want to stay independent? Like, what's your vision on all that right now? Where do you stand?
I think prior to me knowing, I guess, or being like educated on, the whole label aspect of things and just also being independent, I think it's cool to have, it's not a problem. People see, this is the difference between you being signed to a label and partnering up with a label. You know what I mean? Like, people don't look at it from that aspect. They think, oh, all right, let me sign to a label. I'm gonna get everything done for me. I'm gonna get millions. Everything is just gonna, change my life overnight. Not really understanding, what you're actually doing here. Now, when you sign to a label, there's a lot of stipulations behind everything. You owe this amount as far as work-wise, money-wise. That money that you get, that 2.5 or 3 or whatever it is that they give you, that's a loan. You gotta pay that back. Yeah, because think about it, lawyer fees, management fees. You got people on your team that you gotta, they deserve a cut of what you're doing because they're adding to what you're doing. So there's a lot of information that I feel like a lot of people are miseducated on and they don't know. So even just for me, like, yeah, independence is definitely the way to go, especially nowadays because of social media and all the platforms that are given to us now. It's like you don't even need a label. You just have to build your own platform on your own, and once you do, you're good. Like, but if you want that real machine behind you, like I'm talking about, that's why I said partnering up with a label. Like if you have your own label, like look, for example, you got just recently Meek Mill did that partnership with Roc Nation.
Yep.
Dream Chasers, Roc Nation. They partnered up and now they're gonna make money together. They're gonna make history together. It's different when you partnering up with them. I guess there's such a stigma behind them, in the past, guys getting 360 deals and, losing a lot of money and not really getting paid what they're owed. You know what I mean? It's a lot of behind the scenes stuff that just people need to just brush up on and just learn about, you know what I mean, before they actually make that determination or that actual decision for themselves and their career, because it could be the difference between either making or breaking your career at the end of the day. Sure. So for me, at least, I think right now I want to stay, independent. But if it comes to the point where a good proposition comes to the table, of course I'm gonna go for it. Like I said, like I'd rather partner up before I sign to anybody.
Right.
You know what I mean?
There is a difference in that, though.
There is. It's a big difference. It's a way big difference. So
than tying yourself down to something.
Yeah, I mean, but also, make sure you got your lawyers on deck. Everything is on point because, there's just a lot of crazy people out here, man. They just, a lot of people are greedy. Some are money hungry, and just watch your back, and have people around you that really care for you and will watch your back for you as well. Because you need that in your corner. You know
Absolutely.
what I mean? So, yeah.
All right, so let's talk about something that a lot of people don't exactly know about yet. But
what is this?
Why the face?
What is this?
I just want to talk about future work.
Oh, all right, that's easy.
Future work. I know, you have a lot of solid records
I
out.
thought I was going to get
stuff.
some random question. I was like, oh man, another one of Scarlet's questions.
I'm not putting you on blast. This is not nothing. No. We know Lex Lavo, right?
Right.
The rapper.
The artist.
The artist.
Yes.
The lyricist. But then you sing.
Yeah, that's new. That's newly brought to the table.
That's what I meant by a lot of people don't know about.
I can respect that. I think that's definitely new. It's something that it's new to the people because I've always been, in tune with that. Like I've always loved R&B and, like rhythm and blues and stuff like that. I love a lot of old music and stuff like that. But I think it's definitely a different approach. And it'll open up a different audience for me.
Yep.
A lot of different people that maybe weren't really in tune with me because rap ain't their thing. They'll probably start listening more, or you never know. You never know what will come to the table. So I think the singing thing is something that is like a secret weapon of mine. Like someone once told me, don't always present like a magician doesn't present all his tricks at once.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like you unravel it slowly but surely. So I think this is a new side of me that I'm not afraid to show, and I'm ready. I'm ready to show the people.
So you're working on a project?
Yes, I am working on a project. It's pretty much done. Right now I'm trying to I'm trying to keep it under wraps because there's a lot of, behind the scenes things that I have to do to, kind of solidify it and make sure everything, the rollout, everything is proper. But yeah, it's pretty much done. It's there. Like all the records are pretty much done and ready to go. It's just, I have a name for it, but I'm not gonna really put it out there yet. I know.
Really?
You be alright. I'll be alright for a couple more months.
No, because you posted something on Instagram. Yeah. So you posted a little snippet of something, and the reaction was solid. Like the reaction was really good.
Yeah.
And I've heard a little bit of it, so I'm a little excited for what people are gonna hear. It's amazing and it's surprising.
Yeah.
How many songs do you plan on putting out, like, on this
project? It's gonna be like a light EP, like maybe 5 to 6 records, but solid records, like very impactful, just songs that, kind of resonate with me and things I've gone through. You know what I mean?
Love songs?
A lot of love songs, a lot of, breakup songs, just lifestyle kind of vibes. Just it's an overall vibe. And it's gonna be something I know the females are gonna definitely rock with for sure, like, cause it's gonna be something different, you know what I mean? Oh, we got some more food, I forgot. You can bring it. Yeah, thank you.
We haven't even touched
Appreciate
these.
it.
Thank you.
Yeah, I know, I'm starving.
Any release date at all? Like an idea of when you wanna put it out?
Like I said, I think probably within the next month or so.
Cool.
I wanna say if not October, then for sure November. Like I said, it's done, but I like to prepare myself, and I'm a perfectionist, like, completely. So it's definitely gonna be this year, guaranteed. Before the new year, guaranteed, hands down.
Well, November is my birthday, so I'm just saying. And it's Scorpio season for all my Scorpios out there. So
okay.
It's a spicy
Scorpio,
month.
it is spicy.
I think
Very
it's
spicy.
a perfect time for you to put something out for
Yeah,
all the
for
lovers
sure.
out there.
Yeah, I mean, I think it ain't mostly even based around the lovers, man. It's full of human beings who actually are in touch with, their emotional side, the side that a lot of people are scared to touch on.
Yeah.
So it's just like, it's something that I think more or less the people are gonna just resonate with it off the bat, because the things that they go through, you know what I mean? Things that people, they don't speak about, but they think about, and they don't know where to turn to. So they'll listen to my song and be like, oh, I completely resonate with that. So they're gonna want to.
That's the best.
They're gonna want to listen to it. So it's like, you know what I mean? So I can't wait to drop it. You know what I'm saying? I hope that people enjoy it the way I know you guys will, and just stay tuned.
I'm sure they will. Just let everybody know where they can find you on social media platforms.
Yeah, everything is Lex Lavo, Lexlavo on all platforms. Everything you could think about, anywhere you want to look up music, lyrics, whatever, just type in my name, Lexlavo, Young Lavito.
You guys know where to find me at Chris Lava. Scarlet Castro. Everything will be dropped in the comments of everything. Thank you for coming today. I just want to give you some love.
Yes.
Thank you. Much appreciated.
Yes, for sure.
Let's
get busy.
Take a pic. Is that what rappers do?
Yeah, like this. Take a pic. Take a pic.
Wait, but can you